Okay, I'm going to stay on the subject of pictures of us and about us as we move on from knowledge of self to the second step in the pathway towards self-advocacy, that is knowledge of rights. The UN Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities from 2006 references respect for dignity as being a crucial human right for people with disabilities. Respect for dignity is going to be an issue as we take pictures of people, personal pictures often. Pictures that just come to mind, like, why don't we take a picture of John with this big fluffy monster? He likes those films. Here's a picture of John. Here's another picture of some people with learning disabilities, enjoying each other's company and having a right laugh in the park. Here's a picture of some people messing about, doing some physical exercise, having fun again. Here's some other people having fun in the garden. 4 different images showing people with learning disabilities in different ways. But which of these are respectful of the individual's dignity and which aren't? It's not obvious. And actually, until we understand the context of the pictures, who took them, how they were taken, whether people had a choice in how they were taken, whether they had a choice in then sharing the pictures afterwards, we're not really going to understand the respect for dignity question at the heart of the image. It's very important that we have respect and respect for individuals' dignity at the heart of the way in which we work with them, we communicate with them and support them. We can't expect people to carry self-respect unless we demonstrate that respect for the individuals ourselves. Remember David Test's point that these issues, these paths towards self-advocacy need to be taught, they need to be acquired, they need to be learned. So we need to have these rights in our minds as we work with people using photography, using the media. We're going to be documenting people's lives. Some aspects of our lives we're prepared to share, but other aspects are private. And we've got to really consider this as we create portfolios of pictures and video clips about people. It's a good process because actually what we make sure we do is we make sure that that portfolio is owned by the individual and that it's them that choose what they put in it. You can look at the backstory behind the pictures we were just looking at in the accompanying notes to the lecture. It's interesting, different histories behind photos and different effects that the images have when they're taken out of context. Increasingly, people are using multimedia advocacy for person-centered planning processes or education, health and care planning. That's because by creating these portfolios of rich media, we find very accessible ways for people to talk about themselves, to reflect on their lives and think about their futures. It's really useful when the records that we have of people's preferences and choices have been made by them and are owned by them. Instead of having files in filing cabinets in offices that are then discussed by staff away from the presence of the individual, we have a portfolio of material that's been created by the individual, is owned by the individual, and that the individual is eager to share and to show you. That means we've got a genuine piece of self-advocacy. We've got a portfolio of materials that enable somebody to have a voice, even if the way they communicate is complex and often misunderstood. So, instead of having inaccessible files of written material that the individual doesn't understand, we end up with a portfolio of rich media content that they really do understand, that they've made themselves and that they have a sense of ownership of. So around knowledge of rights, we've talked about rights to personal dignity, rights to autonomy through being able to make our own choices. A third right is the right to fair accessibility. And actually that relates very strongly to the multimedia advocacy approach as well, because the key thing about multimedia advocacy is that by working with images, with moving images and video, with sound and with written words, with symbols, with pictures, with all these forms, we're making sure that the chosen form of communication that people use is being accommodated. We're also making sure that their chosen way of communication can be captured and shared. Our understanding of multimedia in multimedia advocacy obviously includes cameras and video cameras, the use of sound clips with microphones for recording, but it also includes the use of paper and pen and pencil and paints. It includes all sorts of ways in which we can assemble communications, ways that suit the way in which people communicate, ways that people can work with, and ways that are accessible to them. And that's this right to fair accessibility. Different people have different accessibility preferences or needs. By working in multiple forms or multimedia forms, we're able to accommodate them all.